I don't love having these conversations, especially on the night of a big victory. But since it's starting to become a thing, just for the record, 9 title defenses for Jose Aldo at 145, and I'm including the WC ones because there wasn't a UFC 145-pound division. So to me, that was the division, and I think it's only fair. Why would you not include those? This was his 5th for Volk title defense at 145.
Yep.
Max Holloway, by the way, had 3. You can count 4 if you want to talk about the unification bout where he was the interim champion and unified the belt. So I don't know. Based on 9 versus 5, I don't know if it's there just yet, but we're getting close. I think we're getting close to that conversation. Is that a fair thing to say? But I personally don't know if I feel comfortable with the greatest of all time talk that is happening a lot these days. But I do think we're getting super close.
I agree with you 100%. I want to do it because he went through the guys, but you got to remember he's going through the guys kind of more in the tail end of their twilights. You know what I mean? So I feel like you always got to take that into account and then see what he does. You need to keep seeing him do it. That's why you'd like to see him stay at 145.
Yes,
in a way, because you want to see him and just kind of see how far he can take it and what he can do.
So this is really interesting now, PT, because we all assumed. Okay, well, first of all right, we assumed that Islam Makhachev, and we still assume he's going to fight in October in Abu Dhabi, right? He's going to fight there. Khamzat's probably going to fight there, et cetera, et cetera. Now, I think we all assumed after Vancouver that it was going to be Charles Oliveira versus Islam Makhachev too, right? I think we all assumed that pretty much felt like a done deal. However, this week while doing media, Charles Oliveira's in Las Vegas. They had the media row thing. He spoke to MMA Junkie and said, I can't fight in October. So that's really interesting. And so when I heard that, I thought, all right, if Volk wins tonight, maybe he gets what he wants. Maybe he actually gets to fight in Abu Dhabi against Islam Makhachev. Remember, he was the backup fighter in Abu Dhabi a year ago. Maybe this all works out nicely for him. Now, there's also the Sydney situation in September. He's from Sydney. Why wouldn't you put him on that card? But sometimes the stars don't align. It's a very weird thing. They have Izzy most likely fighting on that card, and so they're going to sell it out in 10 seconds anyway. But then after the win on the microphone with Joe Rogan, he says he needs to get surgery on his arm. He didn't mention who, what, when, where, how, but it seemed like to me, it felt like something that he was dealing with going into the fight. And so that would probably rule him out of an October fight. But let's not forget, last year, remember he had a broken hand and was like rushing it just to be the backup fighter. Remember all of that. And so also, I want to, before I throw it to you, just to paint the entire picture, as he's walking out, we all think that Topuria is the number 1 contender at 145, though it hasn't been said. There is a case to be made for him maybe needing one more win, but fine, if there's no one else, great. You do feel for a guy like Arnold Allen who had to win 10 in a row just to get to a Max Holloway fight and Topuria, but fine. What do you think happens with Volk? Because now it seems like September is likely not going to be a thing. Do they do him versus Islam in October? They got to give Islam someone in October. So if it's not Islam, so what do you think happens with Volk?
I feel like he leaps at I think he leaps at it. I'll just say real quick. I think I don't know the extent of this arm thing he's talking about, but he didn't seem to make it seem like the biggest deal. But of course, fighters downplay this type of thing. But I think he would jump at the chance, right? If they said, You could do this again. I feel like he would do that. I think he would want to do this because that's just kind of that's been the guy we've watched, and that's been who he is. If he's capable of doing it, I think he would take it.
I think the much more important part to this is UFC are going to want to make it because Abu Dhabi are going to want Islam Makhachev there. That is the most important thing for them. They want these guys on these cards. So you're going to put Islam on. If it's not Volk and it's not Charles, who can you possibly put him against over there where they want the biggest fights possible? Who could you satisfy them with? Honestly, off the top of your head, if it's not Charles, if it's not Volk, who is it?
If it's not Charles and it has to be a title fight,
it's Islam Makhachev.
Yeah. No, I don't know. Maybe they do something crazy. What about Dustin Poirier if he wins?
I don't know, man.
That's pretty quick. Well, let's see, October.
It'll be 3 months.
Yeah.
It's not. DDP's coming back in 2 months.
True. That is true.
Do you think Dustin Poirier wants to go back there where he lost to Habib? Like, you know, this
Fuck yeah, to get a title fight?
Yeah.
Maybe his last shot? I mean, that's the one, right?
And I suppose that there is lineage there, like as far as the fan base over there will know who Dustin Poirier is. They actually received him really well while he was over there as well.
Yeah,
so I don't know, maybe.
Listen,
but
if he gets into a crazy war with Justin Gaethje and in 3 weeks we're doing this show and being like, holy shit, Dustin Poirier, he could slide in there, no problem.
Yeah,
yes,
but it's also, I just feel as though they're going to want the biggest fight they can put on over there. They want this to get all the eyeballs on it possibly can. That's the whole nature of the deal they have with Abu Dhabi. So I think they're going to be pushing for Volkanovski. I think that's the biggest fight you can make.
Yeah, but if he has, I mean, like if he's getting arm surgery, he might not have a choice. They might be forced to just do the winner of that BMF fight. And if it's Gaethje, then it's a little bit weird. But yeah, they might be forced to do it.
But I mean, if he's fought injured before for like, you know, to get an opportunity, as Chuck said, he's gonna do it. Like if they say to him, "We need you for this," I can imagine he does it.
Yeah, no, I mean he did fight tonight, and like I said, what is your level of interest, PT, in a Topuria Volkanovski fight at the moment?
Yeah, like I mean, I like the fight. Don't get me wrong, I'll be excited for it, but it's the way we always are in this community, right? Like we get really fired up the night the guy wins, goes, holy shit, this is going to be incredible. And then you see what he just did to Yair and go, oh, well. Like I said, right, I did say on the Thursday show, I said, we will know within one round how this fight's going to go. And we all said to each other after the first round, oh yeah, Volk's going to win this.
I think we knew within 1 minute.
That's the way it is. And that's the way I feel it is now with Topuria. And I think there is some juice there for the rematch. I mean, I feel like every time he spoke to you about it on your show this weekend, it was one of the things that the internet was all talking about straight after it. And again, he said something at the press conference with the media day and the same, a lot of traction. So, you know, I think if it can happen, the UFC will push for it, Abu Dhabi will push for it, Islam will push for it. It's just a matter of convincing Volk.
Which is the fight that you want to see him in the most? Regardless of timeline, injury, schedules.
Volk and Islam.
Volk and Islam? Yeah. More so. Because Chuck, I see people saying like, just let him stay at 45 and
That's
be dominant
kind of how
there.
I feel. I think
that's not what he wants to do.
No, but I'm asking what you guys want.
Okay.
I mean, because the guy exists, and I mean, it's always one of those things. Maybe that's just old school, like wiring or something. Because he hasn't cleaned out the division. If there's a Topuria there, you know, I don't know if that's really it. I think Topuria, like that showing and where he's at, it has good momentum. I would like to see it just because I think Volkanovski, if we really want to have those, you know, his legacy, and I think that's what he wants. He mentioned kind of breaking records, coming for those records and stuff like that. I think that would be his best route, right? Like he keeps doing this at 145, a couple more, but I know at some point he's going to do the 155 thing, and if it's presented, I would not blame him at all. And I honestly think that he's going to fare just as well there at some point. Like if he goes up there and makes that commitment, I feel like he's going to be good there too. So, if not great there too. So it's just one of those things, man. But I guess if you're asking me right this second, I would rather it be Topuria.